morning, loves! I got something really exciting in the mail yesterday and I wanted to wait to unbox it with you guys. So come on, let's go. Let's see what it is. Let's check it out. I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting for a couple of weeks now. You ready? You ready? Look. It is my Girl Love Rafiki that I purchased from Superwoman, and I will tell you a little bit about this as soon as I unwrap it. So excited! Wear your heart on your wrist or around your neck. In Swahili, the word for friend is Rafiki. Rafikis connect us through our passion to change the world. Each Rafiki helps provide a girl in Kenya with access to education, spreading the girl love by showing how awesome women can be when they have equal opportunity. Keep building each other up, leaving behind the negative, and achieving amazing things together here and around the world. Here is a close-up of the Rafiki, Girl Love Rafiki. These bracelets employ women in Kenya. These are all handmade, and all of the proceeds, all of the profits, everything goes back to these women to pay them to make more Rafikis, as well as going to building, creating, and sustaining schools for women in Kenya. There's an enormous amount of girls and women around the world who do not have access to education like we do here in the United States. We can go on and on about the education system here in the US, and we need to go on and on about it, and we need to fight for a better education system. But while we're doing that, we simultaneously need to be working on helping others around the world who don't have any education whatsoever. But what's also important, I really want to take this opportunity to talk about something that I've learned over the years, and that's solidarity versus charity. I thought that this would be the perfect transition into that. I think this is something amazing, something I trust, something I believe in, but at the same time, we need to be working and fighting for a world that doesn't need charity. With all of the technology and everything that we have in 2016 and beyond, there is absolutely no reason that anybody on this earth should still be living in poverty. But I'm going to be talking about that more in just a moment, so I will take you over there now. Hey everybody, what's up? What's good? Today I want to talk to you about the concept of solidarity versus charity. So we live in a world that is predominantly governed by the system of capitalism. Under this system, they teach us that as long as we work hard enough and have enough dedication, that we will be able to succeed. But what is success? And also under this system, you have a hierarchy. So you have the 1%, you have the wealthy class, you have the middle class, and you have the lower class. Especially here in the United States, they teach us that we are all created equal. Most of us know that this isn't true. If you're born into wealth, or if you're even born into the middle class, you have such a higher advantage than those that are born into poverty. Although it is not impossible to climb out of poverty, it is very, very difficult, and it is all based on circumstance, and can many times have nothing to do with hard work or dedication. Those in the lower class are some of the hardest workers, and they're some of the nicest people. Too many people have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to be able to survive. That is just to pay rent, put food on the table, have transportation, and have your bare necessities. We can do better. So how does this correlate to charity? So for many people, whenever they hear about a natural disaster or an act of terrorism or something horrific that has happened around the world, their first inclination is to donate money. But where is our money going? What is the first organization that you think of when you think about charitable donations? Likely one of them is the American Red Cross. When a catastrophic earthquake hit Haiti in 2010, the American Red Cross raised over $500 million. But where did that money go? Did it go to the Haitians? Did it go to help rebuilding? No, $125 million of it went to internal purposes. That's money that people like you and I donated. Now, in an organization as big as the American Red Cross, there's clearly going to be overhead. But according to NPR and ProPublica, they only built 6 permanent houses. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With $500 million. There's been other investigations, but there's no telling where the rest of that money went. I wasn't there personally in 2012 when Hurricane Sandy hit New York City and the tri-state area, but I have plenty of friends that were there, and right afterwards it was Occupy Sandy that organized, which was an offshoot from Occupy Wall Street, and they came together, as a grassroots organization, and they got things together. They created donation centers throughout the city, and the American Red Cross was actually coming to them for help. Occupy Sandy, at the time of its conception, didn't have any money. It did generate donations, but when you're comparing it to an organization like the American Red Cross, that for one natural disaster is able to raise $500 million, there's not much of a comparison. But more got done with Occupy Sandy than it did from the American Red Cross. Coming from where we come from, it's very easy to just donate your money. Especially nowadays, you can send a text message, or you can do it very easily online, and you can be done in less than 5 minutes, and you move along with your day and you forget about it. We shouldn't be living in a time where any country doesn't have subsequent structures. We have plenty of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help. Every country should be a first world country. There shouldn't be a first world versus third world. And what is a second world country, and how do we skip it? So getting back to the concept of solidarity versus charity. This is something I learned about in 2012 when I was homeless in Los Angeles. One of the people that I was houseless with explained this concept to me, and it was kind of like an epiphany. It just blew my mind. Charity is there for a reason. And I'm not saying that there aren't organizations out there that help. There are plenty of grassroots organizations, both in the United States and worldwide, that absolutely, close to 100%, if not 100% of the proceeds go to actually helping the people that need it the most. But what if we lived in a world where we didn't need to raise any money? What solidarity versus charity means is that if you see someone that's houseless asking for money, or they're asking for food, not saying that that dollar or that food isn't much needed at that very moment, because it is, but we need to start working towards a world that people don't need to ask for those things, because everybody has their basic needs met. That dollar or that food is going to help in that very moment, but it is fleeting, and before you know it, that dollar and that food are gone. What we need is a system where if a natural disaster happens, we send people to help rebuild, not people with money, because the country already has money. They already have resources. We just send people to help with construction. We send people, to help with trauma, things like that. Cuba has sent millions of doctors and medical personnel throughout the world. They sent them to Haiti during the earthquake. They sent them to West Africa when the Ebola virus broke out. What did the United States send? US military. Not military doctors, military soldiers. That's not solidarity. Solidarity is reaching out internationally and instead of murdering people, helping people. Helping in construction, helping with technology. If we have knowledge of something, why aren't we spreading that knowledge? So how do we combat this? We need to do research. I'm not saying to not donate. Right now, unfortunately, charity is a necessity. Until we can create this world where charity is no longer needed, we still need organizations that are helping. But I plead with you to do your research. Do not give to large organizations such as the American Red Cross. Give to grassroots organizations. With the internet, it's so easy to do a search, and you can find reputable organizations, preferably grassroots organizations that are already in that country where there was a disaster. Also, work locally. I live in Florida, and we just went through 3 really horrific circumstances. We had the death of Christina Grimmie, we had the Pulse nightclub massacre, and then we just had Hurricane Matthew. As horrific as all of those incidents were, it's heartwarming to see the solidarity with people. We didn't have any electricity, but our neighbor had a generator, and they allowed us to hook up our refrigerator so we didn't lose any of our food. These things are typically done right after natural disasters happen. But let's create a world where that doesn't just happen after a disaster, where that's happening every day of the year. I think it's also extremely important to create a space in your neighborhood so you can get to know your neighbors and they can get to know you. If you absolutely must do volunteerism, and I know this is a very controversial subject, but if it's something that you're really wanting to do, first of all, make sure you do research on the company that you're going with. A lot of them, unfortunately, do a lot more damage than they do good. But if you are going to go and you found a company that's doing great things, make sure that wherever you're going, you do not go with a savior complex. You are not going there to save these people. You are going there for a mutual exchange. It is so important. Recognize that not only are you maybe going to teach them how to do something, but they're in turn going to teach you as well. Be open-minded. Go in as it's a mutual exchange. Don't go in as you have all the answers. The United States has all the answers. Whatever country you're from has all the answers. In your travels, which is something that I'm extremely looking forward to, bring awareness to others about the cultures that you meet. Create videos. Don't be intrusive. Obviously get consent, get their permission. But create a video, create a photo montage, and or write an essay, do something. Start a blog, start a YouTube channel. Because unfortunately not everybody is able to travel, but a lot of people like myself are really interested in learning about things. And through YouTube, I've learned about so many different cultures. I've, learned about how people talk in the UK and, the slang that they use. I've gone to the Masai Mara, I've gone to Cape Town, I've gone to the Arctic, I've gone to so many places because people were willing to take their time to create videos or photographs and teach me about these places that maybe I'll never get to visit or go to in my lifetime. As someone who has been homeless twice, once in LA and another time in New York City, someone who knows what it's like to be so hungry that you're looking at these storefront windows that have food in them and contemplating stealing because that's how hungry you are and you don't have any money, it is imperative that we help create a world Until the next video, as always, I leave you with revolutionary love.